Charger.
A phone charger?
That'll do it. Ooh. All right. All right. People are starting to join on. We have an interesting story tonight. A lot of you have been hearing the stories that have been going around, and we're gonna go ahead and walk you through some of these things that are being heard and show you what is going on here in our community. It's if you read the title correctly, yeah, it's just as it's stated, guys. It's pretty crazy. A terminated county employee allegedly concealed a major increase or major salary overpayment. Later on, filing a petition alleging sexual assault. Now the situation, like I said, got a little interesting after we found out certain things that came to light. There was also another petition sent by an attorney, and that petition it makes you think a little bit, because why would that petition be sent? And it makes you think about the bigger picture of what is actually going on here. So I know that many of you have heard, probably have heard some type of news of what's going on, and news is news. We're here to show you guys exactly what's going on. Let you guys take it, do your own research, have your own opinion. That's what we're big about. But everything that you are seeing or have seen, you need to look at it, I guess, in small bites. And the reason why I say that is that you can easily get engulfed with what is being told to you at the moment. And you can be with pitchforks and fires and ready to tear down a village, but in most cases you do have another side that doesn't get told. And for some reason, it's infamous, especially here on the border, that news does not get the time to. Everybody's in a rush to let out that breaking news, but sometimes the breaking news nowadays, it evolves, it changes, it's dynamic, kind of like our lives are nowadays, right? It's not just a plain old 1920s newspaper anymore. Things evolve, and I think that it's appreciated when people can hold back on what their judgments, what their news, what their comments are, to see as things unfold and see the bigger picture of what could be happening. One thing I've learned over the past couple of years, especially watching the whole COVID vaccine, all the backstories, all the things that happen with that, it's really kept my eyes open to different things, especially when news medias come out and say things. Now we're not in any specific media, or we're not criticizing any specific media. Everybody does their job, but we like to kind of delay a little bit with our things at times, because there is an ever evolving breaking story, guys. That's one thing that I've learned in doing these things for the past couple of years, is the news changes as it goes. What the news is 5 minutes is not going to be there in 10 minutes. So That's what's happening in this case. I think that a lot of people have seen what's out there, and maybe you haven't seen everything, and we're going to show you everything, but everything. All right. And I think that you guys have come to trust at least what we'll be showing you is all the documentary that we can gather. And through our editors, we were able to secure some documents that are very, let's just say it's important to keep in context, especially with what was brought out just recently in this petition. It's a bombshell, guys. I don't remember anything like this ever coming out, at least in recent history. But these are big accusations. This is a big deal, and there's a whole nother side that I have not heard anybody else say. And that's why we delay at times to give out stories, is because we are trying to find any other contrary story, any other story that may be saying something different, because it should be allowed for everybody to say their story whenever some type of news is being put out or some type of story. Everybody has an opportunity to say, right? Whether you participate or not, it's your choice. But I'm not going to keep this monologue going too much. We're going to go ahead and dive into what you guys want to see is what the hell is going on. I know many of you that have reached out to us have commented, and you guys haven't seen the whole document. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys, again, this is a public document. We did not redact anything. This is exactly how you would get it. This is a copy. If you guys would go to the district attorney's office, the district clerk's office to request one of these, any filing about anything that's happened, if it's been filed with the court, with the district clerk, it's going to be there on file. So anybody can go down there, and this is the copy I got. Things were not redacted. That's how I have it there, right? And this is a public document, as the other documents. Like I said, our editors were able to secure some documents through public information requests that everybody's going to want to see, because it pertains to what is going on. And we have somebody eager here. We'll show it now. Okay, yeah, we have it for you guys. So we're going to show you the complete document. We just want to thank everybody. And right now, while we have y'all, a real quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Viva Canine Training, Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center, 830-335-2111, 1388 William Street in Eagle Pass, Texas, for the best pet care in town. Viva Canine. All right, guys. I know you guys are eager. I can see it in the comments. So let's go ahead and talk, show it. Okay. Ooh, tough crowd. So here's if you haven't seen the full petition, I know a lot of people have seen screenshots, maybe a portion, maybe a section, but let's talk all through this. It's important to keep an open mind as we go through this. I think that a lot of this, in my opinion, it's very subjective. You can think about it one way, you can feel about it another, but when you get through the thick of everything, you'll start to see where things are going. So here's the first page. It was filed November 20th, 3:40 p.m., 365th Judicial District. Of course, that's Honorable Judge Abascal's court. Now comes Claudia White, petitioner in above entitled cause, and respectfully request the court to remove respondent Jaime Ariacheta as Maverick County Attorney under Section 87.015 of the Texas Local Government Code for cause the petitioner would show the following. So this is a petitioner's petition for removal of Jaime Ariacheta as Maverick County Attorney. So what they're trying to do with this, for those following along, is they are trying to get this elected official removed. Now, you remember Jaime Racheta, county attorney, he has been reelected for a new 4-year term. So nobody ran against him, and most of the time, something of that type of respect that nobody runs against you, it says a lot for a candidate. I will say that. Moving forward, discovery control plan. Petitioner hereby intends to conduct discovery under level 2 of Rule 190.3 of the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. Introduction. Petitioner is a resident of Maverick County, Eagle Pass, Maverick County, Texas. Petitioner has lived in Maverick County for the past 6 months. Petitioner further states that she is not currently under any indictment in Maverick County, Texas. Defendant Jaime Racheta is currently serving as Maverick County attorney. He may be served with process at his office, the Maverick County Attorney's Office at 680 Quarry Street, Eagle Pass, Texas, 78852, by personal service or wherever he may be found with a certified copy of the petition. So this is the kind of stuff you get in a petition, what attorneys deal with, right? So we're going to go ahead and slide a little bit over. It's just telling you informational stuff. Classification is where we're bringing up. It says the petitioner is bringing the cause of action against the named respondent to remove the respondent as Maverick County attorney on grounds of official misconduct, which occurred over a period of time, April 2003 to November 2004 in Eagle Pass, Maverick County, Texas. All conditions precedent have been satisfied. Now it goes into background information. Background information from on or about April 2023 through on or about November 2024, the petitioner worked a period of time for the Maverick County Attorney's Office. Respondent Jaime Racheta was a Maverick County attorney at the time. During this time of period, the respondent acted inappropriately with petitioner. Specifically, the respondent made several sexual advances against the respondent and forced the petitioner to conduct several favors for the respondent. The respondent files Exhibit A, which is an affidavit that details the conduct of respondent made against the petitioner. So basically, they're saying they're accusing the county attorney of some type of sexual misconduct that I verbatim quote, forced, that word is used. So she's alleging that she was forced into some kind of sexual conduct with the county attorney. All right, moving forward. So she says while working, she was severely mistreated. These actions included speaking to the petitioner in a grotesque and unprofessional manner. These unprofessional communications also rise to a level of official misconduct. They are also detailed in Exhibit A, which is the affidavit that details the conduct of the respondent made against the petitioner. Let me go ahead and finish, and then I'll comment on this. Grounds for removal. Petitioner alleges that the conduct of the respondent arises to the level of official misconduct, which is grounds for removal under the section 87.013A2 of the Texas Local Government Code. The petitioner submits that the conduct of Maverick County attorney rises to the level of official misconduct, and the petitioner requests the honorable court to order the Maverick County District Clerk Office to issue a citation and certify a copy and serve the respondent, Jaime Racheta, in accordance with section 87.016 of the local Texas Government Code. And then, of course, they add a prayer to the end of the thing. I mean, it's not too much, but I'll read it out. Petitioner hereby requests the respondent to be cited to appear and answer herein, and that on a final hearing hereof, respondent Jaime Racheta be removed as the Maverick County attorney. Petitioner also asks for the appointment of a temporary county attorney pending the outcome of the petition. Petitioner also asks for the court costs and such other and further relief, both general and special at law, in equity to petitioner may show herself justified entitled. Petitioner also asks for court costs, okay, as such others. So, well, I just read the prayer part right now. Let me get you on that part, just for the first time. So, this person is asking, and I'll go ahead and give you the name. That's what's on here. Claudia White. Claudia White in the prayer is asking that her attorney be paid. She's asking her, or court costs, I'm sorry. She's asking for the court costs and such other and relief of, okay? So if there were to be any filing of the type against money, I would think that, that sounds kind of funny there. She's asking for some kind of relief. We'll leave it at that. Let's get into the actual affidavit, which is what many of you have already seen. So what you read right now, it tells you pretty much what the objective is. The objective of this petition is to remove Jaime Racheta from being the county attorney, from the county attorney's office. So they're trying to remove him through this petition. And it was written pro se according to this. What I would wonder if it was written pro se, it's very well written. I wonder if Claudia White has any experience in writing these, because it was very well written. I'll comment that. So the affidavit, she wrote it on her own, right? It's per se. She is making this claim. We don't know yet. We're getting into the thick of things. Again, we did request several documents. We have them here on queue. About to show you guys some of these items. We're going through the original petition, so you guys know the background of what's going on, and then we're going to go ahead and bring you guys back into the timeline so you can see how things really developed and get a deeper understanding of the situation. So in the affidavit, and let me move it on over. We have it up. So it says on the 19th day, and I'll kind of skip a little bit. I'll try to catch most, or maybe I'll just run it through. If you guys are patient enough to hear it out, you guys could read it on your screen if you'd like. This is the affidavit of Claudia White. On the 19th day of November 2024, so you're talking about a couple of days ago, guys. This was a couple of days ago. And appeared Claudia White, and hereby swears on an oath that is the following is true and correct. One thing I do want to point out, Claudia White is swearing that these things are true. I do want to say that it is very serious case if you commit perjury. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's hard to kind of, prove somebody did perjury. So it may be difficult, but I will say these are under sworn, testimonies. It's an affidavit, and you're swearing to the truth and correctness of what this information says. So, if this turns out to be wrong in any way, there could be penalty. I would think, in my opinion, there could be penalty for any type of perjury or things like that. Okay, so sorry about that. Moving forward, let me see. Let me see. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go ahead and keep on going. So it says here that she saw an opening at the Maverick County Attorney's Office. They sent the Maverick County Attorney that she sent the county attorney a message through Facebook to see if there was an opening. He replied to go through human resources. So she's saying through her own admission that she reached out to him directly, which is the county attorney, Jaime Recheta. He told her to go through human resources. It was a position for a receptionist. So it further says that she was hired on April 11th, 2023. So you're talking about April 11th of last year is where she got hired as a receptionist. So she says she began her job as a receptionist and she was getting paid of an hourly rate of approximately 15 hours and $15 an hour. Now, one thing I want to point out, and this is an important point of note right now, I'll even put it in the comments. She's stating that she was getting paid around $15 an hour. Went ahead and just to put that there. So she was working full time. She was working partially through the OLS grant, which is funded partially through Maverick County. Approximately 1 month after she started working there, Jaime Racheta asked if she could run an errand. He told to get Abril Perez, the office manager, about letting her know that I was going with him to run an errand at his request. Jaime Racheta and I then went to Maverick County judge's office to get a document. At this time, we were driving in Jaime Racheta's personal vehicle to run this errand he requested. After we left from the second place, that's kind of confusing there. So she says after they left the second place, that it was asked if they wanted to go to his personal office. It says he did not tell me why he wanted to go. I assumed it was for another errand. Now, I agreed and went into his personal office. We went into his personal office. Now, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop. This is what is being written. Now, my commentary, my opinion, and that's what it is, an opinion. I would think that any female would think being alone with a male, that's not regular practice in anybody's job description. So, I mean, I don't know why it's a little bit odd that let's go ahead and continue with that. So she agreed to go to his personal office. Agreed. They went in, he asked to remove his heels. He sat me down on his couch, and he got on top of me and started kissing me and touching me. It says here he pulled down my pants, he took off his belt, and he pulled his pants down, and he had me perform oral sex on him. He then started to put his penis into my vagina and started having intercourse with me. After he finished, he asked me if I liked it. I didn't respond. He got upset because I didn't respond. We got back in his truck and we went into the Maverick County Attorney's office. All right. That was a whole lot of stuff to unpack. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, I mean, as a male, there's no reason. I mean, she's stating that she didn't know why she was going to a personal office, right? But obviously something happened in that personal office. I know not everybody is the same, and this, what I'm saying is my opinion, and this is coming from somebody that has daughters. I have more daughters than I have sons, right? But my daughters know enough not to put themselves in a situation that is not good for them, so to speak, right? Don't put yourself in a bad situation. And I think all of us learned that, not just females. But apparently something happened, right? Now, it did not say on here, like it did in the very beginning, anything about forcible. It's just something that happened, right? Okay. So I just wanted to take a little pause there, take that chunk in, right? Because it's heavy. It's heavy. But so about after a week, we're on over here. So about a week after that incident, so it says it's a week about after that incident, he was trying to install an Adobe on my computer, an application Adobe on the computer at the Maverick County Attorney's office. I was having a conversation with Jaime Racheta about his brother. His response to me was mamalo. He seemed to take offense at me talking about his brother. He would always complain that he got the short end of the stick with his brothers and get into a fight with his brothers growing up. He seemed jealous of his siblings. What do you think that has to do with the allegation? Does that have anything to do with it? Is that relevant? Says also here, he would text me to my personal cell, from a phone application. He would say, come here. He would tell me to take a seat on his lap. He would then grab my hand and force me to grab his penis. He would ask me to kiss him. He would then put his hands in my penis, in my pants, sorry. He started putting his fingers into my vagina. Now, this is her saying this in the petition. He then put the same fingers in my mouth and asked me if I tasted good. I told him I would have to go back to work and I would go back to my seat. The incident happened approximately a week after the conversation with respect to his brother. Now, in the very beginning, it used the word force petitioner to conduct several favors for the respondent. And now it's detailing several instances which she's claiming, alleging that they were sexual, multiple instances now. But in any of it there's nothing to say that she was being forced into anything. Right? But let's continue because we are not done. It's still more of it. What I am pointing out is that right now there hasn't been anything as far as saying her putting a stop to it. And the reason why I say that, again, being a father of daughters, 3 of them, I taught them and instilled in them since they were little. If anybody touches you improperly, anything like that, from the get-go, you need to say something because that is not right. And not to be afraid to say anything because the parents, her parents, would come in and protect her, and that's what parents do, right? I'm sure anybody out there that has daughters feels the same way. You're going to protect your daughters. But I did start consciously at a very young age with my every single daughter, instilling that in them. The world we live in is not the world I grew up in. It's not the same. We don't live in the same times that we did, in my generation. It's sad, but that's just the truth of the matter. And that is why, since at a young age, I taught my kids, hey, if this happens, especially the females, I overly protect the females in my daughters, right? And they're taught if anything happens, they know how to punch, they know how to hit, they know how to defend themselves, and they will do that if that needs to be done. But not just that, they will come out and say something because that's not right. Nobody has the right to do something to that extreme to somebody else and take advantage. I'm agreeing with that. That is not right. But as we're reading here, and we'll keep on going, there are several things that pop out. He continued to message and text me. He would try to joke around with me. I would joke back with him because he was my boss. Okay. There was a second incident at the Maverick County Attorney's Office. He wanted me to sit on his couch. I told him no. It's the first time the word no comes up in any of this. He had me sit on the desk right in front of him. He started kissing me and touching me again. I told him I was getting hot, so I was trying to get out of there. He would then check me out as I was walking around in the county attorney's office. He then began to text me over the weekend, and after work hours at this time, there was a separate incident. I was working on my computer. He comes in, stops, and tells me, "How come you look happy? They need to keep it up. Whoever's making you smile apparently Someone had told him there was a leak in the office, so there was a meeting. Jaime Racheta then said whoever is disclosing office information needs to stop because Jaime Racheta found out that the governor's office had found out some information. If they continued finding out, the Maverick County office would risk losing their OLS grant. In 2003, in August, Jaime Racheta sends me a text message, and I'm just reading here verbatim of what was discussed and what was said in this petition. Again, a public document that is available and delivered the same way I got it. Any one of y'all watching can go to a district clerk's office and request this file to be given to you. I can give you the cause number. You say the cause number, and they will produce this file for you. So moving forward, she's now stating that they're on the verge of moving from the old county attorney's office to the new county's attorney's office. And she says she believes it was Friday because I was wearing jeans and pictures. Jaime Racheta would send pictures of me, and he would tell me I look good. I would reply either jokingly and react, but there was times I did not want to respond. I felt I had to respond because he was my boss, and he did not like to hear the word no. He liked to have an attention all to himself. I mean, my opinion, these do not sound like the words of somebody that has had something taken from her. She doesn't sound depressed. I think I would, in my opinion, people that would go through such a traumatic experience, people that would go through such a traumatic experience, the females, it would be difficult for them, and you would be able to see it in the words, right? This sounds, again, in my opinion, to be a little bit more on the, not, I don't want to say nitpicky, but a little bit more on the side where a little bit petty about something. You know, and I'm not judging, you know, I know that there is, you know, a lot of cases like that out here that do happen. And a lot of the cases, some are very serious, and, you know, we don't promote anything like that. I think that any female that feels that she has been, you know, assaulted in any way, she should come forward, and we support that. But we support the truth and the facts more than anything. So when I give my opinion, it's based on what we're seeing and what is written as presented as facts, because this is what is presented, right? But anybody can file a petition with any type of wording on there. I mean, I know that firsthand myself, how these petitions can be written in a certain way where they're written to engage a certain emotions upon whoever's reading it, right? So let me go ahead and go on. I don't want to deter you too much, but you're hearing little tidbits of them throwing out, I felt I had to respond because he was my boss. He did not like to hear the word no. He liked to have the attention all to himself. All right. It was a point where we moved from the old county attorney's office to the new one. Iracheta told staff we can dress comfortably so we can move on. I asked if we could wear jeans, shorts. He responded, we can wear shorts. I then wore shorts to help with the move. He was taking pictures of the staff moving. In my head, I didn't feel comfortable with the pictures because I was bending over to pick stuff up. Jaime Racheta was aware I like to work out at the local gym. Therefore, he would continually order me to lift stuff. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. It just sounds very funny the way, you would think it'd be a female ordering a male to lift something, right? It, and I'm not laughing at the cause. I'm just laughing at the situation where the wording that is being used and being emphasized here, especially of the actions that are being, alleged. So they're saying he's taking pictures while her bending down of the whole staff. Yet, I just wonder how many of the other staff felt bothered like her, or if she's the only one in this case, right? But moving to the next thing, it talks about whenever they moved finally to the new county attorney's office. So they had a recent transition apparently. She says this one time he had me go into his office. He was on his couch. He told me to sit on his lap. I sat on his lap, right? And he started kissing me and touching my breasts. He started sucking and biting on my breasts. I told him that hurt. He told me, don't act like you don't like it. I told him he needed to stop. He told me nobody's coming because it's my office. I then fixed my bra and shirt and walked out. I stood up. He would tell me not to leave his office yet because he wanted to check out my butt. I left the office. Okay. So, again, I would go back to the example of my daughters is if a male is telling you sit on his lap and you don't want to, and that is a serious concern, sexual, harassment type of concern, you don't go sit on his lap. But she's sitting on his lap. And, I don't mean to sound blunt about it, but I would have already expect something okay. Somebody wants to get to the nitty gritty, I guess, guys. All right, Dalia. All right, so there was another incident. Another incident where we're helping Jaime Racheta clean the IT room. I believe this was during working hours as well. I was helping him fix stuff. I believe it was during working hours, so she's not sure. I was helping him fix stuff. I didn't believe he was going to do anything because the door of IT room was open. He closes the door. He starts touching me, kissing me. I always tell him someone is going to walk in. Once I told him that, he stopped and he opened the door again. I saw that he had a camera in the reception area room. I asked him, why don't you put it on Zoom into the window where you could, who the person is, you could see the person who's seen in the reception area. He responded that he wanted to check me out on the camera. There was other instances when I was in the reception area. He would text me, "I see you." He would sometimes text me, "You look good." So, guys, again, this is what I'm seeing here is things happen in 2003, and then she's saying things happen now in 2004, right? So now she's saying that she's feeling uncomfortable, feels that she's getting stalked. Again, I felt I couldn't do anything because it was my boss. Now, that's the second time that they bring that up. Second or third time they bring up the whole thing about my boss. He would always remind the staff nobody could do anything to him because he was the boss. Now, sometimes I've seen in other filings, other petitions, a tactic that attorneys use at times is they kind of load up the statements. And what I mean by load up the statements is they add certain keywords, again, to interject feelings into whoever's reading the petition. But one always has to remember when it comes to anything that has to do with the legal process, feelings are not anything that matters or can battle the facts. It's facts over feelings every single time. And a lot of the times what is attempted is to get your feelings triggered. That's a better word. Some of these things are geared to trigger feelings in whoever is reading it, especially when they target certain demographics. Now, I don't write these types of things, but I do have experience in writing proposals to where they are targeted to a certain audience, and you attempt to get sympathy from that audience to persuade them that your opinion, your assertion, your discussion is relevant and correct. And that is very much what some attorneys use in these petitions. And I'm telling you, because I have relevant experience in developing something that is similar to these things, where certain words are placed before, after certain other words in an effort to trigger an emotion from the reader, whoever it may be, male, female. There's even a method to focus these keywords to trigger a certain demographic: female, male, adult, child. That's what words can do, and words placed in a certain order or chronological type of way. That's how words can be used, guys, as much as we might not know or realize. But anyways, moving forward, there were times I would text him before lunch to see if the whole staff would go to lunch in order to have a later lunch. He would ask if I would ride with him. I would respond no, and he would get upset because I told him no. Now, see there, she is giving you her statement that he got upset because he was told no, yet there was no statement to support that or evidence to support that he got upset. Maybe he didn't want to go anymore. And I'm not trying to dissect too much, but I do want you guys to be thinking, where's this coming from? How's this coming from? Because we're going to show you some interesting documents in a moment. So she goes about an instance that another time of an investigator that was working at a time at the county attorney's office, and that he was present whenever the county attorney and this lady, so she's claiming that they were in an office and he attempted to bend her over, take her pants down. He put his pants down again. He put his penis in his vagina. I tell him to stop. And because there's construction, I tell him to stop because there are construction workers in the area. And he responds, they can't hear us because they're in front. She didn't say because she did not want what was going on. She said because there was construction people out there. Okay. Now, again, I bring up the thing that there has been several instances of the alleged sexual encounters that have been going on. Now, why was this petition not filed after the first time? Why was it not reported after the first time to, the Maverick County Sheriff's Office? Why was it not reported to the Eagle Pass PD? Why was it not reported if it was, in fact, a case of an advance that was not welcome? And that's the thing that I always say, because, come on, guys, let's be honest. We always see things, especially maybe in the bigger scale, where you have people 10 years later coming up and claiming sexual harassment or sexual thoughts. I'm not saying or sexual, forced her to do sexual activity stuff, conduct. But I'm not comparing it to this, but we do see those kind of cases at the federal level where, President Trump, several other people that have gotten retroactively charged with, or sued for some of these cases of things that happened several years ago. Now, this is not several years ago in this case, but there was several instances where there was alleged sexual conduct, sexual interaction that she is saying and admitting on her own, right? My question would be, is that if it, at this point where there's been several sexual encounters, multiple sexual encounters, why was no one aware of this incident if it was not voluntarily or consensual? Okay. And that is very important to remember, because as we move forward and show you other documents about her employment with Maverick County Attorney's Office, it may shed some light into why this was written and how it was written, why it was written the way it was written. So she continues that she tried to tell him that she needed to pick up her son from daycare. She says that he didn't care. I told him I had to go. He said he was almost done. I do hear construction workers coming, and I tell him construction workers are coming. So he pulls up his pants. 2 construction workers knock on the door. He tells them to give him a second. He then sits me on the couch. They then come in, and that is where I was allowed to leave. I was not sure what was said between the construction workers and him. Okay. Moving forward. Now, one of the things that that needs to be said is that interactions, time is passing by. There's alleged sexual interactions going on several months, or, multiple times over several months. And yet there's no action as far as going to somebody claiming, hey, I'm being treated this certain way, I'm doing this, or this is going on, and I think I'm being forced into it. There is nothing as far as going to a law enforcement agency about what alleged sexual misconduct is going on. The next incident happened at the Pumpkin Patch event in Maverick County in October 2023. I was walking around and I see Jaime Iracheta's brother, JJ Iracheta. I say hi. We were talking, and then Jaime Iracheta starts talking to me. JJ then walks away. Jaime Iracheta thanked me for coming, telling me I look good. He then told me at the same time, Mamalo, at the same time. Oh, at the time. He then told me at the time, Mamalo, referring to JJ. After that, I just walked away. I was minding my own business with my son and my cousin. That kind of seems odd to throw that in there. I don't know if they're trying to get a reference of character on him. It says after the Jaime Racheta sends me a picture where I'm standing. I was drinking a beer next to my cousin, watching my son play with another child. Jaime told me by text, yum. I would reply because I was scared since he was my boss. Now, in the very beginning of this petition, in her affidavit, when she begins detailing what sounds of an alleged, in a relationship type of thing, where they're going back and forth, there wasn't anything in the beginning talking about my boss, or he was my boss, or my boss, or I was scared because it was my boss. Now, it is now very heavily embedded after the couple of first incidents. It is very heavily emphasized in the petition. On October 18, 2023, I asked if he had heard anything about Daniel Vasquez. This is one of the things that you guys maybe should be paying attention to. I asked him if he had heard anything about Daniel Vasquez, the Maverick County investigator. He asked no. Random thought. I told him that my mother had heard about an incident Daniel Vasquez was involved in. My mother told me that apparently he beat up his girlfriend, got in a Maverick County attorney office vehicle, and left to his mother's. I told Jaime Iracheta, quote, my mom said Horta from the sheriff's office said that he should be used as an example and not given him anger classes like Claudio Cardenas. Jaime Iracheta then responded, Horta should be the last motherfucker talking. I still have a copy of his case in my office. That was a very specific incident, as were the other incidents that were listed on here. One thing that you should keep in mind while you're listening to this or reading it on the screen is that people on a petition will say their side, right? That's what a petition is. They're saying their side of the story. Nobody in a petition says, well, you know what? The other person had the right because of, no, they're not going to argue the other person's case. They're going to give you the one-sided story that they're perceiving and their justification of the story. And that's what a petition is. It's not, per se the factual account of what happened, but it's a sworn testimony. It's an affidavit from this person. Can a person lie? Yes, people lie every day. That happens. Not talking about this in particular, but that happens. So moving forward, it's talking about an incident where that she's saying she sent a picture to Jaime saying, ponte a hacer algo, puro teléfono. and he replied something, and then from there, he was upset about who was sending the picture to him, or who she was sending the picture to. Later on saying, I know we like to kid around. I'm not a fan of taking pictures and showing it to other people, and she's claiming that this is the moment where she began to feel targeted. So she is claiming right now at this point in the petition, she is being targeted. Not anything before this, but right now at this very moment, she says that she is being targeted. Now, again, she went to a pumpkin patch. She's had other interactions with the county attorney ever since the alleged sexual misconduct. So one question I do have is immediately, is this the behavior of somebody that was sexually abused or forced to perform sexual acts? Or a person that is able to talk with and have dialogue with the person she had an alleged sexual relationship with? Would they be comfortable? That's a good, stop right there. How about, I don't know who's exactly watching this. We have a pretty good amount of people. The females, if you feel comfortable, how about in the comments? Would you have said something if this was an incident to where, would you have said something the first time if there were any type of sexual advances on you and they were unwelcome? Would you have said something the first time, the second time, the third time? When, to you, in your opinion, does this become a thing where you have to say something because it's unwanted? And I asked the female audience to help us out with this because obviously I'm not a female. But if the females out there, if you can help us out and maybe comment on when is the appropriate time to say something about this. Because the way it's shaping out is, it seems that there was an alleged something's being alleged that there was some kind of sexual activity going on between the two, as alleged by the person that submitted this petition. But you also have the other side where whether it was really forced or not, because there's dialogue going on between the two. There's time passage between the two. And I mean, if there was something so terrible about the situation, or there was a trauma, that it could have been reported. There was opportunity for it to have been reported beforehand. Now, I tell you this because there's plenty of opportunity to go to law enforcement if there was any wrongdoing to have done so by now, according to this timeline. There was plenty of time and opportunity that this female could have gone to law enforcement if there was any misconduct. Okay? And I am emphasizing that because, again, we're going to go into some things that many people have not told you and have not shown you. And it's important for you to remember the fact that so many incidences or alleged incidences of sexual activity has gone by, discussions have gone by, months have gone by, yet there has been no direction towards law enforcement agency that we're aware or that is said in this petition. We are basing everything on this petition. And again, anything stated by us is an opinion and does not reflect the opinion of anybody else that we may be associated with. Moving forward, she details on a different date in November 2023. So you're talking about a year ago. This was a year ago. The county attorney called her into the office. He tried to do stuff with me again. She's alleging. She alleges that she told her, no, you have a wife and that you're married, and that she was trying to fix things with her husband. He told me, why aren't you separated? I responded, you told me you needed to be professional. He then told me, so ya no? I told him no. In December 2023, we were having a Christmas lunch at our office. All right, I'm going to pause here. And I want to thank Ms. Martinez here for being honest and saying her opinion. And that is exactly the kind of channel and platform we're trying to build, because we are here to bring out what you guys want, what you guys are thinking. And I think that this needs to be seen. It says, in the past, I felt when manager got too friendly with me, I avoided any interactions with this manager, making it clear I didn't appreciate his advances. And that's coming from a female perspective. Okay? And that is consistent with what I have instilled in my daughters, is if you don't appreciate the presence, you remove yourself from the situation. And I think that's common sense. And the lack of removing yourself from the situation can be construed as you wanting to be in that situation. And I'm not saying that's what happened in this instance, but I mean, you have a female perspective. And again, if there's anybody else that's brave enough, like Ms. Martinez, we appreciate you being brave and dropping your comment. If you have anything else to add or oppose or anything else, please feel safe to add your opinion, as this is what the platform is used for and is open for, is to express your opinions of what you may think. So thank you, Ms. Martinez. I appreciate that. Anybody else that's willing to drop a comment, go ahead. So it details now that in December 2023, we were having Christmas lunch at our office. I was wearing red lipstick. I went to reapply lipstick. I came back and sat down. He told me puta in front of the whole staff. I felt super uncomfortable. I get up and go in front because I was upset. Okay. That's crazy. Our office then had a posada with the district attorney and Commissioner Olga Ramos. We were having a good time. Some of the staff members and I talk and say we don't like the vibe. We wanted to go elsewhere. We were getting up and Jaime Racheta asked us where we were going. We tell him we're leaving to a different bar. He asked why. You don't like hanging out with me? He told me it's not that. We told him it's not that. We just want to go somewhere else. He responded, just remember who you work for. I mean, okay. So it kind of jumps up and it's talking about an incident in December 2023. Then it moves forward, right, about that posada. Now it kind of jumps. And I think that a lot of people didn't see, I didn't put up this who's the deputy or what is the story about. Greg, hold on to that thought. We're getting to that. We're about to finish up here. Z just shows how they were comfortable with each other. that's a relevant point. Uh, Being comfortable with each other would kind of counter the accusation of something being forced, uh, being at that level of comfort. We got a Juan Sanchez with a Sucio, uh, the novela that I was dragging it out. We got Melissa Martinez. All right, guys, I just wanted to make sure you all saw all the comments that were coming out. So you got that incident December 2003. The very next thing after that, she says, I then put in my 2 weeks notice and my last day was January 2024. Through what our editors were able to receive and request, we noticed that there were multiple times that this Claudia White, a county attorney's office employee, she worked for the county attorney's office back in 2023, and then she left, and then she came back to work again. So she's detailing this time was the first time that she's putting her 2 weeks notice in 2024, January 2024, because she had to leave to El Paso. And she states her opinion by saying Jaime Racheta got offended and started telling her why she was leaving. Everybody just wants to be with her husband, son mandilonas. Now, so it says January 26, 2024, I was not working for the Maverick County Attorney's Office. On her admission, she wasn't working there. Jaime Racheta texted me, so why are you creeping around my office? I told him I went to pick up my last 2 check stubs. He asked me when I was leaving. I told him February 4th. Maybe in the comments, ladies out there, if you were being sexually molested, sexually advanced, and it was unwanted, would you be giving those types of details to somebody that was not your boss anymore? On February 2nd, 2024, Jaime Racheta sent a picture of where they posted my picture on the county website. He put, "You look pretty." On May, a couple of months later, he texted me, "Hey, stranger." I put, "Hello." He responded, "What are you up to?" He told me that there would be a new position, and he asked me if I was interested. I told him by when he needed a response, and he would let her know. She was, according to this, trying to get to the Border Patrol. She made an application. She said that he texted, "Show me them guns to see if I still approve." And she says that she ignored the comment. Now, in May 22nd of 2024, Jaime Racheta told me that the position was approved and he wanted to see if she was interested. So Border Patrol, she states that hadn't called her yet and she wanted to go back to work. So she wanted to go back to work at the Maverick County Attorney's Office, or she wanted to work. So it didn't bother her to go back to the Maverick County Attorney's Office. Can I get anybody out there, would you feel comfortable going back to a working environment where you were allegedly being, in an uncomfortable situation, having to do with being forced to do sexual favors, according to you? Would you go back to that place of employment if that's where you used to work and you got out of that? Anybody drop them comments? I know y'all are watching. Y'all are too quiet today. So the next thing that says is that she got hired right after May 22nd. She says she started working again. This is her second time that she has worked. So she was with the Maverick County Attorney's Office. She left and she came back. This was May 28th, 2024. I was going to work there in what is known as an SB 22 assistant through the SB 22 grant. I was going to get paid by salary under this grant. She says I was getting paid approximately $2,100 every pay period. All right. $2,100 every pay period. Take home. Let me do the math for you guys. So 2,100 per period take home. You multiply that times 26 pay periods. That's equating to somewhere around, well, you know what? That's not, you're not even including everything that was taken down from taxes. So 2,100 she was getting take home. Let's say 500 or 600, 700 from tax was getting taken off from taxes, because that's pretty big. So you got about 2,800 as per salary times the 26 pay periods. You're looking at somewhere close to 70,000 that this employee was getting paid. Now, that's according to an estimate based on what she details that she was getting paid $2,100 per pay period. Again, that's being take home. There's still taxes they take away. Estimate, since it's a high number, around 700 maybe they're taking away from taxes. So you're talking about 2,800 times 26 times that you get paid a year. That's over 70,000. So she was getting paid that salary. That's very important to remember. She's claiming she gets paid $2,100, guys. That's a very important thing. I want y'all to remember that. I'm putting that in the comments. So she says she sees this because she sees it on her check, right? Because it's already deducted. So it's a deducted amount. That's the amount she sees getting from her check. She says she's not in charge of details or the payroll or where her salary comes from. She knows that the county arranged something and she gets paid. She never came in contact with any actual grant funds, only the funds that she received through her salary. The only thing that she would sign, she says, she's her timesheets and that it was a temporary position. On May 30th, 2024, Jaime Racheta asked her to go into the office. She went in and he told her to take a seat. She sat down and asked why. He asked why I didn't want anything with him anymore. That's what she's claiming, right? So she's trying to be professional and that she's married. She claims that he says that he was getting divorced, right? They were getting divorced. She said that he didn't care. He kept asking why not. So she goes on and about that, and she says again, she's already made this point a couple of paragraphs ago that she's feeling targeted. She reiterates that she's being targeted now at this point. From this point forward, I felt that he would target me. I felt that he would target to me. She felt it, a feeling. He started to make things really difficult for me at the office to the point where I felt uncomfortable going to work. So she details a time where they were going to the cantina for lunch. She texted Jaime Racheta if she wanted to join. He asked her if he wanted to ride with him. She said no, she would ride with someone else. And then he said he didn't want to go. Okay. August 9, 2024. She's talking about her daughter being in the office. They were playing with her. And she says he took pictures of them. Multiple employees were there. She says she was the one who felt uncomfortable at the time of pictures that were being taken. On August 23, 2024, Jaimira Cheta sends pictures of what I believe is inappropriate of me. On September 2013, September 13, 2024, I ordered tacos for the office. Later that morning, Jaimira Cheta asked me how much he owed. He responded he would pay with his body. This was also inappropriate. On November 1st, I sent a picture of a cockroach that was found in our office, and I sent it to Jaimira Cheta so he could be aware that the office might have a bug problem. He responded, Bañate, cochina. Now, I'm going to go ahead and interject with my opinion commentary right now. I've been in the process and on the wrong end of a false employment issue where a whole department orchestrates a statement, almost the whole department, except the only honest person came forward, coincidentally a follower of God, comes forward and was honest enough to say, to shed doubt on what was done. But I've been on that side, right? So you have many statements that have been said and that have continually piled up in a matter of a couple of months, where it existed before a whole year where there wasn't those types of complaints. Not to the extent that they're coming out now in 2024. As you can see, I mean, from the petition, sorry, I've been kind of slow on showing you guys, but we're actually running word by word on you. So now you're moving into something that I would really pay attention to if you guys are following along, because this is very relevant and it's going to bring something relevance to what I'm about to show you next. We're almost done. Stick in there. I know it's kind of dragging a little bit long. We'll move a little bit faster. So November 13th in 2024, Miss Valderas calls the office at approximately, and you know, I'm not going to go ahead and hide these names because it's public record. They've been shared multiple times through multiple news sources. And, you know, the petitioner of this obviously did not care about putting names out, right? So we'll go ahead and just detail it as it is. On November 13, 2024, Amanda Valderas called the office at approximately 2 p.m. She called by phone asking to speak with Jaimira Cheta. I asked to identify herself. She said she was Amanda Valderas. I asked her, do you have a case with us? She replied, no. She needs to speak with AJ Iracheta. And he knows her very well because he has spoken to him before, because he loves hearing him out and what she has to say. Okay. After that, I asked her in regards to what? She said it was a personal situation. I told her I needed to know specifics. She told me that her husband assaulted me on November the 7th. Amanda then said she wanted to press charges, but then she changed her mind and wanted to press charges, but the Eagle Pass Police Department told her she could not press any charges anymore. Okay. She gave me an incident number. I asked her if she knew who the detective was on her case. She said no. I asked her for a description. She finally identified Detective Guadalupe Escobar as the detective on the case. I told her to give me a second. I put her on hold. I took it to Maverick County investigator Ricardo Salazar. I explained to him what she told me. Ricardo Salazar agreed to speak with Amanda Valderas. On the same day, I sent Jaimira Cheta, at his request, a picture of a package he received. He said, okay. I then asked him if he knew the individual by the name Amanda Valderas. He replied, "Yes, I know who that is. Is she calling or if she is there?" I told him she wanted to speak to you regarding Horta, but I passed her to Salazar. He then replied, "She is Avdan Horta's daughter-in-law and is the baby mama of the sheriff deputy. Apparently some drama happened recently." I replied, "Do you want me to get a callback number?" He replied, "Yes." I responded, "Yes, he assaulted her last week." He responded, "You heard or she told me?" I responded, "She told me." He responded, "It's always hard dealing with victims. They don't help themselves." He responded, "She didn't want to press charges and now she does, and PD told her she couldn't anymore." He responded, "You see, it's going to be drama." Later that day, November 13, 2024, Amanda Valderas went to the Maverick County Attorney's Office. Ricardo Salazar spoke to her. After she leaves, I asked Ricardo Salazar what was going to happen. He tells me he needed to speak to the detective Escobar of the police department. He speaks with Jaime Iracheta, asked to speak with Jaime Iracheta before to find out what action was going to be taken. She says on Thursday, November 14th, the Detective Escobar shows up at Maverick County Attorney's Office asking to speak to investigator Ricardo Salazar. Later that day, Amanda Valderas shows up with her little girl. She asked to speak to Ricardo Salazar. I went to Salazar's office and told Amanda Valderas was looking for him. Salazar asked me to ask Jaime Iracheta. Okay, it's going back and forth, but it's talking about Amanda Valderas, somebody that wanted to press charges because she was allegedly hit by a sheriff's deputy by the last name of Horta. So she's detailing this in this thing. This is coming from the petitioner. It says a couple of months before the incident, Avdan Horta, the father of Aaron Horta, went to the Maverick County Attorney's Office to take pictures of the Maverick County Attorney's Office vehicles. So Jaime Iracheta texted a group chat and he texted a better picture of Jaime Iracheta's Maverick County Attorney's Office vehicles to Avdan Horta. I asked Jaime Iracheta why Avdan Horta dislikes Iracheta so much, and he responded, "I have this one case on his son Aaron. I can get Avdan with that." So from there, she details one of the things that you should be thinking about is how did that whole section get interjected into this petition, right? And then now it says something about when she put her 2 weeks notice, she started to feel comfortable. And then she started getting asked about her overpayment with the county. She went to go ask the county attorney. The county attorney said she was not aware of any payments issued or how the county was paying her. I told him I didn't know how much I was getting paid exactly. I also told him I was under the impression I was getting paid a salary and not per hour. I thought he had given me a bonus. I wonder why she thought she was getting a bonus. Does anybody find that funny? How she thought she was getting a bonus from what she was getting paid? Let's come back to the comments real quick. Ms. Rodriguez, I quit and walked out when my husband yelled at me. So, no, I wouldn't have gone back. I mean, I'm not a female, guys. I'm not pretending to be one. I'm not one. I don't know how y'all females out there feel about this. I don't. I'm asking. But there's been two comments there, and and I think these women that are commenting, they're self-respecting women. They're women that respect themselves, right? And that's what I teach my daughters. I teach my three daughters to respect themselves, respect their bodies. And it seems that, there's other females out there, adult females, that do the same, and that have given you two different instances where they would have not continued, especially because it was unwarranted, it was not wanted. Whatever behavior they were getting from a quote unquote boss, they decided they didn't want it, they didn't like it, they got out. In this petition that I have been reading, you guys, that just has not been the case if you've been following along with us. This has been prolonged. This sounds allegedly consensual. So we're getting to the part where she's submitting a 2 weeks notice. She is being told about an overpayment in her check. And now she is saying, for the first time, he says bonus, now saying that, there was no bonuses. She's claiming that she was told bonuses were only for attorneys and investigators. And she says that she was never in charge of the funds and she could not pay herself, and that the county was the one who approved the funds for her. And that's how it ends. That there was an overpayment that was given to her, which explains the $2,100, right? Because that's a very high salary. Again, if you do the math, estimate the taxes that were taken off, add that, multiply it by 26 pay periods that Maverick County gets, you would see there that it was well over, close to 70,000, something like that, a big number that she was getting paid. Now, based on the information that we had, our editors did request information that we wanted to see. They requested information that pertaining directly to this Claudia White versus Jaime Racheta case. And it's very relevant to what is being alleged in this petition. So we'll take you to the 2 weeks notice, first of all, here. The 2 weeks notice that was handed out and I may be going a little out of order here, but give me 1 second. Okay. So we're actually, let's look at okay. So let's look at this in the first place. So we have a letter here that came on behalf of, this was a document with Human Resources, where it shows you an incoming employee or somebody that's been recently hired. So you have the person that's there, and you have how much she was getting paid. $36,000. they're dividing that, if you see in that little sticky, they're dividing that by 2088, which is the hours, which equals to an hourly of 17.24, according to this document, times that by 80 hours. So you're in the rough estimate of 1,379 before taxes are taken away. That is very different than the 2,100 after taxes are being taken away. Now, this document, let's see if we can find a date on there. Well, I don't see a date readily available on here, but it does detail a salary of 36,000 for that employee. Now, if you see the pay stubs that we requested, you can get somewhat of a picture of the difference in salary. So you got one of 574.92 when she first started. You got now 1,147 when she first started. So she's getting paid at a rate here, grossing 1,345 with 68, and net pay 1,147. So the rate of pay there says 1684, right? So we're scrolling you over, we're showing you the different paychecks, and they're around that 1,000 pay. Everything, it seems that the final pay is different, right? The take home, because of the hours that were submitted. Some are 71 hours, some are 56 hours. I'm guessing maybe holiday pay wasn't involved, but you're getting paychecks of 1,100 and something, 1,172, 1,059, 1,059, 941, 1,172. So you're getting somewhere in that range of 1,100 to 1,100 to 1,200. Now, if you look at, this was the employment during her first stint at Maverick County Attorney's Office. So this were the payments that she was getting. Now, they hired her at the same position, and then my concern was that she started earning checks of $2,117 now, and checking 1,700, 2,117, 2,117, 2,117, 2,123, 1,416, 1,981, 1,064, 1,027. Again, they varied because of the hours, but how the hell did the check jump up from take home 1,100 and change to 2,100 and change? That is a significant difference in salary, guys. A huge fucking difference in salary. So let's go back. What can authorize? Who authorized? Who did this? Let me show you. You're looking at a document that says the salary is at 36,000, and the take home, give or take, or not take home, without any taxes being taken, give or take, is about 1,379, as it details right there. Of course, that is an estimate, but what we're going to show you right now is an email that was sent back This was an email that was sent back in May 24 of 2024. Again, if you remember and if you followed along in the petition, Miss White was hired 2 separate times with the county. One stint before in 2023, where a lot of these alleged sexual interactions occurred without any intervention from law enforcement, because nobody submitted a complaint to law enforcement or the court. And then she later came back in this instance when you're talking about summer 2024, around in May, where this is an email from the county attorney, Jaime Racheta. Please be advised that I have hired Claudia Crystal White to fill the newly created position created on the county attorney's office SB 22 grant. She is to have a annual salary of $36,000. This is the county attorney telling the HR department that she needs to have a salary of $36,000 and will be effective May 28th, 2024. Okay. Now, that salary of $36,000 that has been given to her by her department head, which is Jaime Racheta, the county attorney, does not equate to the $2,100 checks that were given subsequently at what? A mistake by what department? I'm not sure who would make this type of mistake, but the accounting mistake gave her an overpayment. Now, from what we're gathering on this next letter, she did give her 2 weeks notice. I want to show you that, of course. We try to show you all the sides of this. So we want to show you what her 2 weeks notice looked like. And of course, it was hand delivered. If any of y'all women want to say how many of y'all can hand deliver a letter to somebody that forced themselves onto you sexually, allegedly, could you be able to hand deliver a 2 weeks notice to a man like that? And it says that she will give effective November 15th. I give you that my last day will be November 29th. I will be going on to pursue other opportunities. With that being said, I am very thankful for the opportunities presented to me while being employed by the Maverick County Attorney's Office. Signed, Claudia C. White. Your opinion. Does that sound like a resignation letter from somebody that has been done wrong? Or that somebody that had something done wrong to them? Does that resignation letter relate to what is being said in this petition? So from there, again, the next thing that many people are not talking about is the termination of Miss White by the county attorney. The termination letter reads, November 18th. This is an important date to remember. November 18th. This is to Claudia Crystal White. Subject, termination of employment. Dear Miss White, this letter serves as a formal notification that your employment with Maverick County Attorney's Office will conclude today, November 18th, 2024 at 5 p.m. You are required to turn in all county property in your possession immediately. This includes but not limited to any keys, identification badges, electronic devices, and other items issued to you during your employment. Please note that you are still pending proper arrangements with the auditors and treasurer's office regarding the salary overpayment. It is imperative that you address this matter promptly to avoid any further complications. Should you have any questions or require further clarification, please do not hesitate to contact the Human Resources Department. Sincerely signed, Jaime Racheta, Maverick County Attorney. So this person on November the 18th, Claudia Crystal White, was terminated from employment from the Maverick County Attorney's Office on November the 18th due to what seems, well, I'm not sure if it's saying it was specifically for that reason because it doesn't, but it does say that she does need to address some form of overpayment. Now, there was one incident, where Miss Claudia Wright should have seen or should have known, because this is where you have your salary and it goes into your file, right? That's what it appears to be. And it tells you your salary there. In an email, we have the county attorney advising the HR department of the salary to be paid to Miss White. And then we have several months of the same salary, the pay rate of $2,779.20. That's a lot of money. So let's total that. So even though the county attorney sent an email saying her salary is set at $36,000, her salary somehow, some way, through error, through I don't know whose hand, ended up incorrect and being the equivalent of $72,103.20. If you multiply that 2,270,000, we'll estimate it. It's a little small for me to see. Sorry about that. But guys, with that amount of money, it should have sent some kind of alarm that is way over what was budgeted or what should have, what was being paid. Now, we showed you several checks. Months went by and nothing was said. Nothing was said by this employee getting overly paid. Again, we're saying it was $36,000 that was set by her boss, $36,000, but she was getting paid at the rate of somebody getting paid $70,000. That's almost double her annual salary she was getting paid. Nothing was said by her until months have passed that some issue came up, and then she writes it on the petition saying that she did not know about that. Now, she referenced that directly in the petition. Now, this is the most funniest thing, I guess. and we'll wrap it up after this. We will have a story coming out after this, an article over the weekend. We'll have that to you sometime before Monday, detailing everything, showing you all the facts, giving you the documents that we've gone over here, just so you guys know where we're getting these documents. These documents are fact. I mean, they're in writing. We got it all. We're showing you guys. We're trying to be as transparent as possible to show you the whole story and nothing else. Stephanie Oskin, I hope I pronounced that right. I am glad you said that. I'm glad you bring that up. Do you think she was overly paid to keep quiet, like unintentionally? Her pay was higher for a specific reason. All this is madness. Okay, let's address that directly. From knowledge of my past working with public entities, you always have a separate person. You have a separate people that guide a finance, an auditor's office that set, that are finance people that have an oath as finance people that they're going to do what is right and what is just and what is correct. One can make the argument that the only way the county attorney would be able to even adjust something like this under the water would be that he would have to have somebody on the inside with the county auditor's treasurer's office, okay? Because you just saw a memo where that is an official piece of record that is being sent to the HR department that was setting a salary. I mean, we saw it. Later on, you guys will have it available for you guys to download or do whatever, right, to view. And you can see for yourself, right? I showed it to you where the department head, and this is in cases in most public sectors, will send or set a budget, and that's what the salary is. We requested that information. This is the information that we received. And the record, according to what we have, show that she should have gotten paid at the rate that her director, her department head, the elected official, county attorney set for her, which was as documented in May of 2024 at $36,000. You may have realized, just like I did, that the 2,100 does not correlate with the 36,000 annually. It's more like 70 something thousand annually. Now I'm saying all this background information to say this. Oh, there's still more background information. I know you guys have recently read an article about the county auditor resigning and leaving a letter or some type of mandate that they were not going to pursue, or the county was going to have to pay something of like $300,000 of grant funds that were not going to be pursued for reimbursement, right? And I bring all that up to say I don't think there is any fans of the county attorney in the county auditor's office. All right. And I say that because of the public discussions that have gone on. And you can pop in any, go on Facebook and take a look at any of the public commissioners court meetings, and you will see many instances where the county attorney and the county auditor's office, they do not, I mean, for the lack of better words, they don't get along. There's issues there. There's issues again stemming from the county auditor that just resigned. He's throwing out mandates that he says he heard from the state. I won't comment on that because that's a different show. But there's enough there to say the county auditors, they are not fans of the county attorney. I do not see any county auditor or treasurer going as far as to rig this thing, because if you see the documentation that supports that salary is not there. The documentation that supports is a salary is the $36,000 that was sent directly from the Maverick County attorney himself to the HR department, right? So the HR department has that information. The county attorney has that information. Somehow, I don't know if it was the county auditor's office. I don't know if it was the county treasurer's office. I don't know who is at fault, who made that error. But based on the documents we have, I mean, the county attorney sent out and set a salary, and that salary is not reflecting in these paychecks. And in the petition where she says he was paid $2,100, which is way over that $36,000 salary. So was she paid intentionally? I mean, that's one hell of a question. It would have to be somebody within the auditors or the treasurer's department that did it. Again, I find that rather difficult. But, I mean, if there's any wrongdoing, then wrongdoing should come to light. But what I do want to emphasize is, you know, everybody knows that if you get overpaid, you will get that check cut eventually, right? I mean, that should be common knowledge for anybody that's an employee, that is employed or that is not in self-business. You should expect if they're overpaying you, you're going to get your check cut. There was many instances where, I mean, any employee, especially, I mean, that you've been working a couple of years, you know how much you're getting paid. Your money is your money. You keep tabs on that. You know how much you're getting paid. So, I mean, to say that you don't know how much you were getting paid at a certain time, and then now it is obviously significantly different, and you not to notice that, I mean, do you guys buy that? I mean, I know when I was growing up, everything that I had to check was, I mean, what I was told to check is, you know, check where your money is going, check your money coming in, make sure that's right. And that's not something that you learn maybe growing up at home, but you do definitely learn that from other employees that have had instances happen to them with their paycheck. So that's what I'm showing y'all. That's what I have. There's one more thing that is very important that should be told, is that the same day that Miss White was terminated from employment from the Maverick County Attorney's Office, and I can imagine maybe somebody being upset, right? She was terminated on November 18th. She filed a petition in November, on November the 20th. But one of the things that many news medias out there, or people trying to give you information, they're not giving you all the information. I mean, that could be. We weren't given any documentation as to that. It could have been a mess up, in different levels, and mess ups like that can happen. And if they do, it should be fixed accordingly. But I feel that, and it's my opinion, of course, that why wouldn't somebody knowing or possibly knowing that they're not getting or getting more than what they're getting paid or what they were being paid at their rate that they were hired at, you're getting paid more, would that not be a cause of an alarm for the employee, right? So let's get through this real quick. One of the things I'm showing you here on the screen is something that nobody is talking about in the news media, guys. And it's the fact that there was a petition submitted by attorney at law Alberto Rodriguez for a defendant's petition to stay the proceedings and disqualify it doesn't say county employee, it says the country employee. Oh man. I just caught that right now, and wow. He should have double checked his writing, right? But Alberto Rodriguez, attorney at law, puts defendant petition, stay the proceeding, and disqualify the country attorney from Eagle Pass Police Department case number 2024-000-25824. Gee, guys, what is Eagle Pass Police Department case number 2024-000-25824? I'm curious. Karina, if I knew I was getting paid more or less, I would say something about it. At the end of the day, it all comes back to me, my opinion, of course. And I mean, I concur with your opinion because I am of the similar opinion that if I'm getting paid something that I know is not my salary, hey, dude, stop paying me this. Why? Because they're going to take it away. It's just something where anybody that's been employed should have had that kind of experience before, or should have a coworker that had some kind of experience similar to that should have said something in the course of their work that, hey, take care of your hours, make sure you're getting paid what you're supposed to be paid. I mean, everybody checks their pay stub to make sure they're getting paid the hours that they're supposed to be paid. But when you check your pay stub and you're getting paid more than you should be getting paid, do you always say something? In this case, nothing was said. So again, you have the attorney at law, Alberto Rodriguez, filing on behalf of defendant Aaron Horta, the defendant's petition to stay the proceedings and disqualify the country attorney from Eagle Pass Police Department case number 2024-000-25824. So in this petition, Alberto Rodriguez files a petition in November stating that November 6th, the Eagle Pass Police Department had a case number where a victim, Amanda Valderas, filed a police report against the defendant, Aaron Horta, with the Eagle Pass Police Department on November the 6th. The Eagle Pass Police Department number is whatever. The victim alleges, among other things, that the defendant, Aaron Horta, committed assault against her on that date. After ongoing multiple interviews and requests, the defendant filed an affidavit of non-prosecution with the Eagle Pass Police Department on November the 9th. So there was a complaint filed, and then there was a affidavit of non-prosecution. The Eagle Pass Police Department, during the course of investigation, deemed their matter closed as there was insufficient evidence to proceed with the charges against the defendant. During this time, the defendant filed a petition and complaint against Amanda Valderas for harassment stalking that is currently pending with the Eagle Pass Police Department. The case number in the incident is whatever. Among the allegations and evidence in this case is Amanda Valderas sent multiple text message communications through Facebook threatening to reopen the charges with the Eagle Pass Police Department. Amanda Valderas proceeded with her threat and demanded that the Eagle Pass Police Department reopen the investigation against the Eagle Pass Police Department. The Eagle Pass Police Department compiled and continued their investigation of the incident. The defendant was interviewed, and Ms. Amanda Valderas was interviewed at her insistence and request. Among the investigation was the interview was done by Maverick County, Texas Ranger. How are you a Maverick County, Texas Ranger? Jose Sanchez at the request of Ms. Valderas. After the interview of Ms. Valderas, the Maverick County, Texas Ranger again, Amanda Valderas recanted her statement. The EPPD and the Maverick County, Texas Ranger at the time deemed there was insufficient evidence to proceed with any charges. So it says the defendant, Aron Horta, then learned that the Maverick County attorney demanded that the reopening of the case of the Eagle Pass Police Department, even though the victim, Amanda Valderas, has twice recanted her statement regarding her allegations against the defendant, and law enforcement has deemed there's insufficient evidence to proceed with any charges on the defendant. Maverick County attorney currently has a pending stalking harassment charge against Amanda Valderas that is currently pending. The Maverick County attorney is proceeding with the prosecution of this case. Further, the defendant currently works as a deputy sheriff for the Maverick County Sheriff's Office. During his official capacity while working at the Maverick County Sheriff's Office, the defendant arrested one of the Maverick County attorney's investigators this year for assault. Finally, the defendant worked under Operation Lone Star, and he's claiming that he was removed from being the ranch liaison, claiming that the Maverick County attorney was the one who removed him. So what he's claiming in this affidavit, attorney Alberto Rodriguez, who is defending Aron Horta, who is a Maverick County Sheriff's deputy, who has had a previous incident with domestic violence as per articles that have been circulated. There is a claim here from the attorney, Alberto Rodriguez, that there is a conflict of interest between Maverick County attorney trying to pursue the case of domestic violence or assault against Aron Horta, a Maverick County Sheriff's deputy. So the alleged incident happened on November the 6th. And in the other petition, you guys saw that, again, Ms. Valdera was trying to reach out to Maverick County attorney, again, with a case of assault that, lo and behold, attorney Alberto Rodriguez in the backworks was submitting a petition to assist his client. For what reason? Now, this is entirely my opinion, is that these incidents seem very well orchestrated. Now, what I mean by orchestrated, for you, those of you out there that may not understand, is that what a coincidence these incidents, the same players are involved in these incidents, and it is continuously happening across several agencies. Of an instance where a woman is trying to report domestic violence through every means that she's trying to. I don't know the story other than what is being presented, but you have Alberto Rodriguez sending in a petition on the same day that Claudia White was terminated from Maverick County. And then 2 days later, you have a petition that is submitted by Miss White to the Honorable Court detailing an alleged sexual assault after she was terminated for whatever reason. There was something there about her receiving an overpayment. How that overpayment was done is one thing that we need to seriously look into, and one thing that we are. So far from what we have gotten, you can see her salary was set. Where that mistake was done is something that we need to dig up. But I do want to bring your attention on how very eerily this was, I don't know, in my opinion, maybe coordinated. It's just very weird how the same names that come up in this petition come up in the petition from Miss White, and it's the same people that were interjected in both of these petitions, where one of the petition is trying to remove the county attorney from prosecuting the case or going forward with the case, possible case of Aaron Horta, a sheriff's deputy that was also named in the petition of Miss White. Now, this seems seriously, I don't know, man, head scratcher. What the fuck is going on, right? You have almost, in my opinion, possibly orchestrated move by attorney Alberto Rodriguez. He filed this later on in the day after a letter was received by Miss White that she was being terminated. And then 2 days following this affidavit that many people do not know exists about his attorney, Aaron Horta's attorney, he's a sheriff's deputy. His attorney, Alberto Rodriguez, is trying to disqualify the county attorney from pursuing a case of domestic violence, assault, allegedly, from the mother of Aaron Horta, the sheriff deputy's child, okay? So wrap your head around that, because that just opened a freaking whole can of worms that puts in question this original petition of alleged sexual misconduct, wanting to remove him for misconduct, but yet you have attorney working in the backwoods trying to remove him from a specific case that has to deal with domestic violence. And, forget that this is public record. Why would certain people, the petitioner, this attorney, why would they put in public record a lady, Ms. Valderas, is trying to seek help from an alleged domestic violence situation? Now, this is alleged, guys, and I'm coming straight from what Alberto Rodriguez wrote on his petition to the court on behalf of his client, Aron Horta, who is a Maverick County Sheriff's deputy. This is straight from Alberto Rodriguez's petition, where it's being alleged that Ms. Valderas is accusing Aron Horta of assault. Okay, he's saying this. He is stating this. So why would they bring this out in public, state her name, when she is attempting to seek help for a situation that she alleges that there is domestic violence? That is one concerning thing that I would say about the petition and this petition that was filed by Alberto Rodriguez on behalf of his client, Aron Horta, who is trying to disqualify the county attorney from pursuing any case against the Maverick County Sheriff's deputy, Aron Horta. Now, this is a question I pose. Do you think that the first petition from Miss White has anything, or is what a coincidence with this certain other petition filed by attorney Alberto Rodriguez? Do you think that that is a coincidence? Do you think that, what? Are you kidding me? Do they have to go hand in hand, or do they not go hand in hand, guys? You let me know in the comments. We have presented what we know to this day at this time to you. We thank you for joining us. This was a tough one to swallow. We had to take it down because of the gravity of the situation. All of the story was not being told by the rest of the news medias, and that is the case here most of the time in the city of Eagle Pass, in Maverick County. And I believe that all the evidence needs to be shown. That's what we're trying to do here. As of right now, this is the information that has presented itself, so we're reporting to you as it is and giving you our opinion of the facts, or of what is written that is understood as facts, what's documented on the court. I will say again, what has been expressed here is an opinion and is intended for entertainment purposes. It is not for any type of legal advice. It is not for any type of legal opinion. We are strictly going over what was filed in a court of law, and commenting on what our opinion is. And we are grateful for the opinion of the readers that we have here, our following that is gracious enough to give us their comments. Now, I know there's going to be people viewing this after the live, and there's going to be comments after that. We are going to put together an article piece for you guys that is going to have all the documentation in there. We come with the receipts that we're given. We seek these out. Our editors, we have a great group of editors, guys, that we're building. And they're, not afraid to seek out Well, I mean, there's things. Those are things that we need to say or find out, right? Those are things we need to find out, and we're. This is again. I stress that this is an evolving news story, guys. What we are presenting right now can change, will change, but this is what we are telling you based on the facts or the documents. Redact the that word, right? I'll take it back. But this is what we're being presented right now, according to the documents available, what we've requested, and this is the opinions that we're giving. Now, disclosure: this does not represent anybody else. This does not represent any other organization. These are opinions solely of the creator, and that's how it is. Opinions intended for entertainment purposes and informational purposes. So, given that, we're going to let you guys go. We'll be posting all of these documents, what we have gathered, and we'll let you guys take make your own opinion about what happened, what you think happened, because that's what's important is your opinion, and that's what we're detailing through our platform that is built, geared for people to feel safe to express their opinion, which is allowed to us in the great state of Texas, in the great country of America, in the United States. That's what we're allowed here, that is different and unique from any other country. And I encourage everybody to exercise that right, because that is a God-given right to you, and no one else in other countries have that except for us here in the United States. So you need to exercise those rights. But guys, thank you very much. This has gone over close to 2.5 hours. We've had a great following. You guys wanted to know what was going on. We showed you what we had. I guarantee you there's no other news media that has given you some of these other documents and has presented this case in entirety, filled with, the surprises that it had. We gave them to you. We're bringing you transparency. If there's anything else that develops in this story, we will bring you up. We are expecting some kind of response. If there's something served, we're expecting some kind of response coming. But stay tuned. If you haven't liked us, if you haven't been following us, the Maverick Times, guys, we bring you the whole story, the complete story, not just the story that is convenient for certain news medias out there and certain players out there in the political realm. We give you the whole complete story, and it is what it is. Whether you like it, whether you don't, whether you support, whether you don't, you make your own opinion from what the opinions that have been said and the documents that have been presented. Thank you for following us. We appreciate it. Hit up our sponsors. We really appreciate that. That helps us keep them as sponsors, right? But thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your Friday night. Have a good weekend. And remember, we live in the best country, guys. Support your right for freedom of speech. Your opinions are important and are appreciated in this country. There's always two sides of the story, and there's always the truth. I leave you with that. Good night, Eagle Pass.